Hello everybody and welcome back to another video at Fifield Junction, and today I'm going to be showing you how to DCC an 040 by Hornby. So here I've got a normal Hornby 040 saddle tank locomotive. So it's a very basic locomotive, but it's not DCC ready, so I'm going to be showing you how to hardwire this particular kind of loco to DCC. And even now, one of the things to mention with this loco is that obviously whilst the body shell on the outside obviously is quite different to a lot of other locos, the tooling inside is pretty much exactly the same for a vast majority of Hornby 040s out there. So for example, I can show you this 040 here. Well, obviously the body shell is very different, but the tooling inside, the motor, the pickups and the chassis are exactly the same to this one. So even though I'm going to be showing you how to DC this particular loco, if you have one that's like this, or even a diesel, or even a little 040 diesel shunter, that's relatively new, so probably in the last 5 years or so, then the tooling inside will be exactly the same. So you can easily transfer what I'm going to be showing you here onto another locomotive that's got a slightly different body. The decoder that I'm going to be using is a Lays DCC 2-function decoder. So we've got all the wires for pickups and motor control, and then we've also got a few wires for functions. But obviously we're not going to need the function wires for this loco, so obviously it has no functions. But at least they'll be there if I do decide to add some functions in the future. So the first thing we need to do is get the body off, and on this particular loco, it's literally a screw at the front there, and then the whole body will just lift off. So I'll just do that now. There we are, let's put that to one side. Now, a little bit of persuasion. There we are, and the body just comes off. Now, one of the things I don't really like about this loco is that if you just wanted to remove the top plastic section, because this entire chassis piece here and the front piece here, well, not the front piece, but yeah, pretty much this entire bottom chassis bit here, including the buffers, is completely solid metal. And to actually remove that from the top plastic section here, you actually have to take this entire top piece off anyway, because then there is a screw just down in there that you remove, and then those two pieces come apart. But the only way to access this loco obviously is to remove the entire body like I've done here. And now that we're inside, we can see how she's wired up as a DC loco. If I just hold her up to the camera, it's going to focus. Move back a bit. So obviously we've got the capacitors on top here, then we've got a wire coming from each side of the motor going down to pickups on each side. Now on slightly older versions of this loco, the way the loco picks up electricity is literally the power comes through the wheels, through the pickup on the inside, and then straight into the motor that way. But luckily on this one it's a lot easier, because it literally comes through the wheels, comes through the pickup, then comes up for a while onto the motor here. So that makes the job a little bit easier, because if you have one which has the tooling like I just said, where it literally goes straight from the pickup straight into the motor, there's no wire in between, it does make it slightly more difficult to do. But it's literally just a case of insulating the pickup from the motor pad, like the contact on the motor, so you can then have the power go from the track to the chip, then come back to the motor. But the first thing we need to do is remove those capacitors on top, because we're not going to need those. So I'll just do that now. It can be quite difficult. Don't know why they put two of them on. Come on. I'll get there in a minute. She does want to come. Let's try bending them up a bit. That's all. You gonna come now? lot easier just to cut them off. There we are. That's one side. There we are. And then we need to desolder the pickup wires from each side of the motor. If it wants to. Come on. Is something else holding it on? I don't think so. What's going on here? Oh, I think there's another bit of the capacitor inside there. Let's try and get this other capacitor off. Alright, I'll be back in a minute, guys, when I've got the capacitors and everything off, and I'll continue from there. Hey guys, I'm finally back. It took longer than I expected it to, but I've managed to get the capacitors and everything off. So now, as we can see, we've got two wires, and then we've got the two contacts on each side of the motor. So the next thing to do is grab the chip and solder the corresponding wires to the correct areas on the motor on the loco. So we don't need the blue, the yellow and the white wires because they're for the functions. So what I'll quickly do is I'll tape those out the way and then I'll carry on. Okay, so I've taped those wires out the way because we don't need them, and we're now left with the orange, the grey, the black and the red. Now, the red wire is for the right rail and the orange is the right hand side of the motor. Then the black is for the left rail and the grey is for the left hand side of the motor. So, if I just put the logo here, from my point of view, I'm going to say this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side. So what I'll do is the black wire from the decoder will go to this wire here, the red wire will go to here, and the grey wire will go to this side of the motor, and the orange will go to this side of the motor. So I'll solder those up now, and then I'll come back and I'll explain what I've done more clearly then. Okay, here we are, and I've soldered the connections to the correct parts of the loco. So I just hold it. I've got the red going to the right rail and the orange to the right hand side of the motor, and then we've got the black going to the left rail and the grey going to the left hand side of the motor. So I'm just going to quickly try and tidy up all of these wires, and then we'll quickly give it a test to see if it works. Okay, here we are over the layout. So let's put her on. I've tidied up the wires, as you can see. So let's put her on. And let's see if she works. Oh, the wheels might be a bit dirty. Lovely. Right, I'll do some reprogramming and then we'll see if that works better, and I'll give the track a bit of a clean as well. Okay, I've given the track a quick clean. I've changed some of the CVs and I've also changed the loco's address as well, and I've put the body back on. So let's give her another quick test. Oh, have a function selected, there we go. And there we are. Just cut out the points. There we are. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to DCC an 040. So I hope that my guide has helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Bye.